So the pride rainbow is the problem? No, the movement is the problem. So the pride rainbow doesn't matter. That's not what I said. It's a misappropriated symbol. So the pride movement stole the rainbow from God. Not exactly. God is sovereign over everything, and in the end, everything will glorify him. He will either be glorified by their redemption or by their judgment. But the symbol is a helpful illustration when you juxtapose that real rainbow and what it represents and what the counterfeit does. Counterfeit? What do you mean? Satan can't create anything. All he can do is counterfeit and twist what God already made. God created the rainbow and placed it in the sky as a covenantal sign carrying specific meaning: his mercy, his judgment, his promise to all creation. And the pride rainbow? It carries symbolic meaning too. It just points in the opposite direction. Where the real rainbow represents God's judgment on sin, the counterfeit says there is no judgment. Where the real rainbow represents mercy extended to those who didn't deserve to live, the counterfeit says we don't need mercy. Where the real rainbow is a promise from God to all of creation, the counterfeit spits on that promise and waves God's own symbol back in his face. But if God is sovereign, does any of this actually matter? Here's what people miss about the rainbow. We only live because God chooses to let us live. The flood happened. The judgment was real. Every human being drawing breath right now is doing it because of the mercy and the promise that the rainbow represents. The people marching under that flag exist because God kept his word to Noah. That's not a small thing to take for granted. Okay, but why does this particular symbol matter? If the movement is anti-God, isn't that the real issue? If their symbol was a triangle, I'd have nothing to say about it. You could stretch the connection to the Trinity, but that's pretty thin. When it's the specific sign God pointed to in Genesis 9 and said, "This is my sign, my covenant with all creation," that's not me reading religious meaning into things. That's me recognizing the thing God already designated. There's a difference between a symbol that has religious overtones and a symbol God explicitly claimed as his own. So the symbol matters because God specifically claimed it. It matters because it reveals what's actually happening. This isn't just a movement that disagrees with God. It's a movement that has taken God's own covenant sign, the sign of his mercy and his promise, stripped out the judgment, the need for mercy, the promise itself, and waved it as a banner for human autonomy. God is not mocked. That's not my warning. That's Galatians 6:7, and it's why I keep making these videos. Not because I hate anyone, because that rainbow means something real. The people under the counterfeit one exist because of the mercy the real one represents. Here's the bad news. At one point, every single one of us was standing under condemnation, guilty of our own sin and deserving of death. But Jesus brought a better covenant, and through him, every single one of us can be free from a banner of death and step into new life in him. And it's a free gift. So let's make a big deal about Jesus, because Jesus is a big deal.